What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to do an unboxing. I got a nice little surprise in the mail yesterday, so we're going to unbox the Snapmaker U1. I got that in the mail yesterday. When I got home, I was surprised to see it because it was supposed to initially come late May. So this will be my first toolhead changer machine, so it should be a good experience for me, I hope. I've seen a lot of other reviews online already, and everybody loves it from what I can tell, so I'm excited to open it up. Alright guys, I might not be full frame here, but I'm gonna pop this thing open, get it unboxed, and see what's in here. Put it on the floor and we'll pull it out. Alright. First thing I see here, taped very securely on the top, looks like is the instruction booklet. That. Alright. Packaging update notice. Your unit is packaged in the new version. I'm assuming that means they had the beta version out for a little while that they sent out for testers, so we'll see here. Quick start guide and safety guidelines. Quick start guide. Oh, it's nice and colorful. Nice. Oh, this looks like it's gonna be a really good manual here. Oh yeah. All right, I'm gonna set that aside. Let's see if we can get the good stuff out now. All right, I'm assuming I'm gonna have to just pull this up from the bag. It was just suction cupped in there, so very good packaging here. Plenty of foam, and then it's got the air bubble stuff on the side here, so I like it. So that's off to the side. Man, oh, put that over one of the tool heads, it looks like. All right. Do this without scarring anything up. Shouldn't be too bad here, I hope. All right, what's this box here? Well, this is coming off as a whole. Oh, it's a box in there. There's a couple boxes in here. Funsies. All right, let's get this stuff off here. Ooh. Okay. Note, don't grab this ledge here. It will pop up. And it's sitting on top of cardboard, it seems like, on the bottom. Yank these tabs. Alright. So, I am looking at the front side here. And this thing has tape literally everywhere. So, it's definitely packaged very well. I will say, just by pulling off some of the tape, the plastic seems pretty thin. Like you can see it kind of pulling with when I'm pulling off the tape. So just be careful and hold down. I would hold down the pieces while you're pulling the tape off. So like this already looks like it's popped out a little bit. It's all right. It's all right. No problems. See if you guys can see this. There's like 3 pieces that went across. One went across tier 2. It's leaving some residue on here. I'll peel that off. It's just the nylon portions that were in there with the tape. But good. We got one piece here. It's holding on. Looks like one of the power cables or data cables for the extruder, maybe. Another one of those on the bottom. Foam. Or not extruder, I'm sorry, the filament feeder. Two more of these foam pieces on the bottom. And then again on the other side I have another piece of tape over the right hand side. One of those filament feeders. Alright. So I think that's all the tape. Yeah, nothing on the back. And looking at the front, scoot it closer for you guys without tilting her off. Looks like there's 3 pieces of tape here holding that on. Take those off. Again, I'm holding down the plastic as I'm pulling, just in case. All right. And then in the door, oh, that is tempered glass, it seems like. That's awesome. Like the Anycubic, my Cobra S1, it's a, I don't know, I think the newer Cobra S1 is tempered glass, but the one I have is the older one, and it is just regular plastic. And it just seemed cheap, but yeah, it's fine. Yeah, it's definitely glass. So, something else to clean. And then inside here, you guys can see another box. Again, I'm being slow and gentle, kind of peeling this stuff off just in case. I'm gonna pull that out. Almost looks like a shoe box. Let's see what we got here. Just gonna get my knife and cut it. 1, 2. And oh looky, another box. Close this door real quick. Looks like a lot of the tool head stuff. And what is this? Oh, nice. It's the PTFE tube, some lithium grease, thermal grease. Nice. Comes with some clippers and a scraper. That's really sweet. A nice wiping cloth. Some screws. So it's like the kit that you need to build it, plus some tools. And it looks like it comes with an extra hot end here. Yep. And is that an antenna for Wi-Fi or something? Oh no, that's for the back side right here to hold up those PTFE tubes and stuff for the tool head changers. Cool. And a nice wire brush. And needle for getting rid of those clogs. It's pretty much got all the tools you need, it looks like, to set everything up, which is really awesome that it comes with it. So I'm gonna set that to the side. It's in that box. And this one looks like it has the poop tray. Nice little poop tray. That must be the feeder for that one's left side and right side feeder. Bang bang. And then these are the spool holders with the USB-C cable there. All right, so that's in that box. I'm gonna put that to the side. And in this box, I'm gonna assume is gonna be the tool heads. No. Power cable, filament. We got yellow, white, red, and black. They shipped with the filament, which is nice. I'm not seeing the tool heads. Oh. Guys, I'm stupid. Don't get confused here like I did. In here, you got to pull this out, and bang, there's the tool heads there. So, underneath that. All right. I'm going to bring you guys down up and over the top here. All right, guys, try to get you in here as close as I can, top down, so you can see what I have. I'm going to open this front again. Nice little bag of desiccant in here. Might be reusable for some filament. Some more tape. Whoops. Two more over here on this side. We're right over top of the fan. Okay. And it looks like the build plate is taped. Yeah, we might have to raise that before. I should probably get the instructions out right about now, because it looks like we're at the point where we need to get these screws out. So stand by 1 moment. All right, guys, I got the instructions here. So again, I love these. It shows everything that's in the box, so every little thing that we had in there, so you could inventory it if you wanted to, but the screws and everything that came with it, it's all in here, so it's pretty sweet. I know other videos, pretty much people, from what I can tell, I don't know, I could be wrong, but they just build it without having the booklet out, but I'm going to show you guys every step that I see in here. So starting right here with the unboxing, kind of like what we already went through. Pop it open, pull it out by the bag. Basic stuff, get rid of the foam, get rid of the plastic bag. I kind of did it in a little bit of a different order, but you can see, peel off the sticky tape, take the cardboard off there, pull the box out, pull the foam off of the tool head there, and then the tape that we already pulled off around the case itself. Whoops, I have one more piece right here actually. Pull that off. Tapes inside that we did. Pull that box out. We just did it in a little bit of different order. And then there's your toolkit, and it's telling me now to grab the H2.0 hex key out of the tool. toolbox, or the little tool thing they gave us. And then we're going to start taking screws out. So let's do that real quick. All right, I grabbed them both out here. It looks like they're both one size at both sides. One side's just going to give you a little more torque if you needed it for this, and then this long end side will be easy for you to unscrew something. So it's the same size on both ends of that same tool though. So one tool is one size, one tool is the other. And it looks like, just to be clear here, we can go back to the toolbox, or the inventory here. And one's an H2.0 and one's an H1.5. So obviously the smaller one is going to be your 1.5, and then the bigger one's going to be your 2.0. So like I said, this one's asking me to get the 2.0 out, and we're going to remove 3 screws here. So it looks like it's going to be, hopefully you guys can see this, right here where there's the cooling fan. It's going to be right here. Again, this is the front of the printer with the door that opens. Fan here, there's a big fan here, and then there is 1, 2, 3, and that's what it's asking me to remove right now. So sweet, and it's magnetic. That helps. I don't have to pull out my iFixit toolkit for this, although it might go a little faster. Alright, that's all 3 of those. Moving on here. It says remove the 6 screws as illustrated, then remove the support brackets. So again, these brackets here, 1, 2, 3 in the front, 1, 2, 3 in the back, and then there's a plastic bracket here that we're going to end up taking out. I'm going to open this front door to get this easier accessible. Some nice long ones. All right, all those screws are out. We're going to pull these support brackets out. 1, 2. On the side. See what's next. Take out all remaining protective padding, which I think is this right here. It's kind of taped down though, so I'll just yank that one off. Do the same with the one back here. Yep. There's still tape in there. And then peel off sticky tape, then remove the desiccant packet. Well, I already did the desiccant packet, so. Remove the protective film from the camera lens. Camera lens is, as you're looking at, again, the front. There's a little camera right here. And it's got a little blue tab on it. It might be a little hard to see. It's got a little blue tab on there. Set that aside. And the protective film around the door, I already did that. And now it's talking about the installation. So it did say to remove this tape. I'm going to remove the tape now. Let's see if I can get that pad off. Let's pull the plate off real quick and see what happens. I like this looks like it's a basic PEI plate, but it almost looks golden from here, but I think it's from the light. Yeah, it does have a little bit of a gold tint to it. I like it. It is two-sided, just like your normal ones, I guess. Pull that off real quick. And I'm kind of pulling this stuff down and sideways to get the tapes off. It is pretty hard. You might want to wait until you actually raise the bed there. But again, I'm pushing down or pulling up. There we go. All right, I'm gonna put the plate back on. I love the alignment tabs there. Those are sweet. Those are nice and tall. The ones on my Anycubic are not that tall. So I kind of, sometimes when I lay it on there, it slips out. So I like that. All right, moving on. Place the printer on a stable surface. We already doing that. The terms left, right, front, and rear hereafter refer to the indicated positions. So as I was stating before, obviously the front is the opening door here, and then common sense is going to tell you left side, right side is right side, and the rear is the back from there. All right, select the left filament feeder marked L and establish electrical connection. Plug the feeder into the slots, then slide it to lock into place. So pretty basic. Take the cable, plug it in, and then lock it in and slide it to the rear. So I'll put the printer on its side or bend it up real quick so you can see what I mean. We'll start with the left, and then I'm assuming we're going to do the right. All right, so what we're going to do is the left side, get it installed correctly, insert the filament tubes or the PTFE tubes into toolhead 1 and toolhead 2, matching the labels 1 and 2. And then it's just telling you how to remove the stuff too. And then you do the same thing with the right hand side. So I'm going to do all of that right now. Turn this on its side real quick to show you guys. Being very careful here. I hear some creaking. All right, there's the cable they're talking about. Make sure it is, and they even say here, make sure it's inserted and not tilted. You can kind of see how it's like off kilter there. So you can only go in one way. So make sure that the tab, there's a tab here on the top. You can kind of see it protruding. Make sure it slides into the slot there. And then just try to square it up and press it in. All right, and from there, make sure your one is facing towards the top. Put the pieces in, push down good firmly, and then push it back and it clicks. I like that. All right, I'm gonna set this back up straight real quick. And then it wants to put the PTFE tube, or the filament tube they called it, from these backside here. There's the black slots into the slots here. So there's 4 of them that came in the toolkit here. All right, pay attention to which ones you're grabbing. You really can't mess it up because it only fits in one way. But the smaller ones, the skinnier ones, I'll say, are the ones we're going to be using right now. So grab 2 of those. And again, one goes into the back of number 1 slot. And then underneath, if I can show you, underneath here on the top, you're going to slide it in there. It's going to look just like this. Slide it in, and then just give it a slight little pull to make sure it's not coming out. It looks good. And the same thing for number 2. Pushes in, and number 2 slides in. Boom. And do the same thing on the right hand side. Right hand motor. Make sure you're doing 3 to 3 and 4 to 4. They're numbered. All right, that part's done. Moving on. All right, install filament holder 1 and filament holder 2 on the left. These are pretty simple, guys. They are numbered 1 and 2. And then you're going to do the same thing on the right hand side for 3 and 4. There's number 1. It only fits in there one way. Boom. Nice little snap and we're good. Here's number 2. Line up the pins. Snap it in. Alright. Same thing on the other side. So on this side, 1 is on the top, 2 is on the bottom, 3 is on the top, 4 is on the bottom. Pretty self-explanatory. All right, move the tool head swapper to the front to allow for installation of the waste collector. So this shouldn't have any power to it, so the motor should be able to just move. So just nice and slowly move her on forward. And then snap the waste collector into place. This little tray. And you slide it underneath. And there's a little section there to put it in. And it looks like this, there's a little tab hole in the back that you slide in there. Yep, and it just slides into place there. It will sit there a little loose, so it's fine. All right, waste collector's in. Prior to toolhead installation, ensure all sliders are in their required positions. The labeled toolhead slider must be at the far left position, while the other 3 toolheads sliders should be at the far right position. Looks like we'll pull all the toolheads out real quick. There's going to be 1 with a label and then 3 without. Looks like to make sure they're separated accordingly, because there's one that's going to be different than the others, so that's what it's saying. Let's grab the tool head real quick. Pull them out one at a time here. They do have the magnetic covers on them, so be careful when you're pulling it out that you don't drop it. What I mean by there's that piece there, it's magnetic, so while you're pulling it out, probably try to grip that motor right there a little bit, the stepper motor, and try to pull it out as best you can. So this is the first one that has the label on it that I was talking about. Remove this label only when instructed. This tool head requires a different installation process. So I'm going to leave that on the side right now. And then the other 3 should be exactly the same, meaning they don't have that label on there. So it's telling us to ensure all sliders are in their required positions. So it looks like there's a little red tab in there or something that's supposed to be showing. So let's look at those real quick. I can see on the one with the label it does have the red showing there, but the majority of these ones do not. So I'm going to see if I can use this and then push it over. See how the red shows there? I just took the little 2mm and pushed it over, and the red's showing now. So let's do that with all 3 of the ones without the label. Make sure it's good. And last one, 3. All right. Now all the red is showing, and this one says install the labeled tool head first, remove the label. So we'll remove the label and ensure the slider is positioned at the leftmost location. The red marker on the slider should be visible, which again we just verified on all the tool heads. If the slider is not at the leftmost position, use the included hex key to adjust it, which we just did. So, align and insert the dowel rod sequentially into the rear and side dowel holes, and the tool head will be fastened by magnetic force. So it sounds like all you gotta do is slide it right on in there, and it'll attach itself. So let's do the first one, which is the one that's going to go, should be this side right here, number 1. This is the one with the label. It said pull it off. Oh, she's sticky. I don't like that's leaving a sticky residue on there. We'll leave it for now. Alright. Alright, so while we're putting this on there, the hole with the metal clip that we moved to make sure the red was showing, the farthest hole to the left, this little pin you want to make sure goes into that. And then these will align with those on the left hand side. So make sure it's there. Slide like that. And then they fasten to the magnets. So again, make sure that pin lines up correctly. And then that was the first left one. And this is what it's showing here. So this is what I was describing. You can see here. We had them in this position, particularly for this left one with the label. That little hole right there. That little hole right there is where you want that pin to go into. Not to the right of it like it is here. So that way when you slide it into position, the red will disappear. That's what it's supposed to look like. And then we're going to do the same thing for the others. Align and insert dowel rod sequentially into the rear, and slide dowel holes and tool head will be fastened by magnetic force. So again, same thing. After they're all done, the red should not be seen. Alright, this is going to be a little difficult. I don't have a stable hand, really. But I'm going to do... So I already did this one. As you can see, the red disappeared here. So it slid in, and when it slid in, it pushed this way. So the red disappeared. Now it's going to be the opposite for these ones. It's going to slide that way. So here's the tool head. The red's showing. And I'm going to align it on that hole there. And then it's going to slide that way. So kind of if you put it in there, push it all the way as far to the left as you can. Let's see if I can do this. There, you see it went to the right spot, and then move it to the right, and magnetically it just goes. Do the same thing here. Find the little slot, move it all the way to the left, pin aligns, slide to the right. And the last one. Slot all the way to the left, pin aligns, slides in. Should be that simple. Alright, all those are done. Let's move on. Avoid manually handling the tool head swapper to pick up or return tool heads, as it may prevent precise mounting of the tool rack. So don't touch this, and don't touch the swapper here and put it on there and try to do it yourself. Let it do it by itself. Rotate approximately 2 turns counterclockwise to loosen the 2 screws at the indicated locations. No need to remove the screws. Alright, so it's saying stick this in here. This is the 2mm hex, by the way, and it says 2 turns, so loosen it 2 turns. 1, 2. It says do not remove. That's 1, 1, 2, and then it wants you to take it from where it is now positioned and move it all the way around twice. So I want you to go around twice, and then it wants you to retighten those screws. I'm doing this nice and slow, guys. I don't want to mess anything up. So that's 1. That's 2, but it wants you to tighten those screws at this position to the middle, because it says, and there's a picture here, retighten the 2 screws at the indicated locations. And those are obviously the locations, but I moved the tool head back center like it is in the book. I don't know if that matters, but that's what I did. So I'm going to retighten it. Alright, so it does tighten up again, so I would just do snug. Don't crank down on it so hard. Once you feel it start getting tight, just give it a little bit. Alright, that's done. Moving on. Thread the tool head cable through the opening in the filament tube holder, then connect the tool head cable to the machine. So tool head cable and the filament tube holder. And it looks like we're going to be using M2.5 by 16 screws. Those should be in the little toolbox they give us. So there's 4 of them. The cables they're talking about were on top of the reel holders, so it's these ones that are like USB-C on both ends. So I'm going to get all these ready. I'm going to grab the M2.5 by 16s. It's these ones, and there should be 2 for each, so 2, 4, 6, 8. And then they want these little things here. They're going to go just like that. And then the cable is going to go on top of it, and you're going to screw it down. That's basically what's going to happen. So pull all these and put it in here. They're here, screws. And these hex heads are the 2.0, not the 1.5 one that was there. So the bigger of the 2 screws that we had. So you're going to take this, you're going to put it on top, take the cable, and it's kind of wound. So if you want to straighten it out, I'll usually just go at the bend point and kind of do that. Straightens it out just a smidge. That, like that, and then take the cable, plug it in, should hold it in position at least. And take 2 of your screws, slide them into place. Again, I would not crank down on these too hard since it's just screwing into plastic and looks like some type of, no, they're both plastic. So, just enough to be tight. I'll get it to where it's snug, and then I do maybe a 1/4 turn, if that, just so it doesn't loosen up by any chance, because I know there's going to be vibration and stuff in here, but I did see on all the screws it does have that blue Loctite in there. It's supposed to help from the screws coming loose during vibration. At the same time, it does make it harder to screw in too, though. So just be careful. All right, again, just snug. You don't want it crazy, but you don't want it to move while you're doing that. Like trying to move it around, it shouldn't move at all. So do that same thing on 2, 3, and 4. All right, guys, got all these USB-C cables fastened down. Again, just make sure they don't move. You don't have to put too much pressure on it, but if they feel loose, tighten them up a little bit. I'd do maybe a quarter turn or half turn as you're tightening them to make sure you don't mess nothing up. Next thing, oh, and I did have one M.2.5 or M2.5 by 16 screw left, so keep that in mind. The next thing we're going to do is connect the other end of the tool head cable to the tool head. So you can see the USB-C slot on the top. You're just going to end up doing that, plugging it in. Oop, probably want to hold the tool head. My bad. I'd put 2 fingers underneath the top or the bottom and then push down. Make sure it's in the slot. And then you're going to use the ST 2.6 by 10 screws, 2 on each. And we're going to do that for every single tool head. And again, just rotate it until it's snug. And you feel like it's still not tight afterwards, you can tighten it up a little bit. Half turns I would do, or quarter turns. So the ST 2.6 by 10s, 1 in each. I'll get one side slightly snug, go to the other side, slightly snug it up. That's about snug, and then I'm going to turn until it feels like it's hard to turn. Just barely with 2 little fingers. Boop, boop. Good. And then just take it and give it a little wiggle. If it looks like it wiggles a little bit in there, then you can tighten it up a little bit more, but I'd just be careful on how much you tighten it. So you don't want to strip those threads out. And then do the same for the rest of them. I'm just going to plug them all in here and then do the screws. All right, now that we got all the cables fastened, they don't move, the next thing is going to be insert the smooth end of the 6mm filament tube into the machine body through the filament tube holder, then insert the notched end into the tool head. So what it's referring to is this 6mm tube here. Take these off and I'll just show you one real quick. So there's one end here where you can tell, I don't know if you can see it, but it's completely smooth all the way around the entire tube. Then the other end, you'll see it has a little bit of like a square notch. Okay, so the smooth end is going to go on the back. You're going to slide it right down here, insert it into the hole, give it a nice little push down, and then you should feel it slide in until it ends, and then give it a little tug up, and that's it. And then the notched end slides into the top here. Oop. Make sure you're, don't be like me and make sure you hold the tool head. So it should slide in and then give it a little tug up, then you know it's in there. All right, and do the same thing for every one of these. All right, that's done. I also want to note I had an ST 2.6 by 10 screw left over as well. And I also have one of these PTFE tubes left. So I don't know if it's going to be used for something else, but it's still there. All right, we did all that. And then it says use clips to secure the 6mm filament tubes and tool head cables together. So basically just pretty it up. Should be pretty simple. The clips are under the cutters in the little toolbox they sent us. There's clips. And I'm going to do, looks like it has a skinnier side and a wider side. Pretty sure you want the wider side on the PTFE tube. See how many we need here for each. How many do we got? Just space it out accordingly so that the cables aren't moving all over the place. That's what I would do. I'm probably going to use about 3 on each. I'm going to slide this one up a little bit further actually. Probably about there. Alright, do the same thing for all of them. Alright guys, I got that done. One thing to note, I forgot to say while you're putting the PTFE tubes on, make sure you don't tangle it up with your USB-C cable, meaning like don't cross them. It makes it easier when you're running this to the cable clamps so they're not like crossing across to each other. If you did by accident already do that, it's very easy to remove the PTFE tube. You just, the little slot you slid it down on, push down with your fingers, try to do it like on the sides and then pull up on it and it should just release and then push it back down. So all right, moving on to the next step. Ooh, the funsy part. Plug the AC power cable into the machine in the electrical outlet. So it says before plugging in, make sure the power switch is off. Obviously you don't want to get shocked. And then you have successfully installed the machine. So that's it. For preparations, it says, it's talking about the apps. So create an account for the app. Looks like on your phone. And then of course it has its own app for Windows too. Windows and I believe Mac. So it'll go through the initial setup on here. I'm not going to go over that right now. The next video I do, I will be the first print I ever do with it. And we're probably just going to do the benchy that has been advertised with Snapmakers, that little dragon. So I'll put all the filaments on there that came with it. That way it's 100% stock using their filament and everything. And then straight out of the box, we'll see what the print results look like. So that'll wrap it up for this video. It was a nice straightforward install, I think. It did take a little bit of time. It took me more time, obviously, because I had to adjust the video, so hopefully you guys can see a little better. Alright guys, that's going to wrap it up for this video. Give me a like and subscribe if you would. I greatly appreciate it. If not, it's cool. I understand. Other than that, I'll see you guys on the next video.